Howdy. My name's Sean Stanley. I was born in America. Most of my childhood, up until I was 11 years old, was spent on farms. Sometimes we had a huge farm. Like for 6 years, we had about 1 hectare garden. And we had a huge field for growing hay. And so I learned at a young age how to do gardening. In fact, my dad would show me a piece of, a portion of the garden. He'd say, you pull every weed, well, here they say grasses. You pull every weed before lunch. So I had a certain amount of work I could do before I could get my lunch. And that was the way my dad always worked it. I always had something to do before I could even eat breakfast. We had chickens to feed and dogs and all sorts of animals. I remember a lot of those practices. My dad would use manure from the barn, and he would spread it over the soil and then use a rototiller to till it in. But some things he actually used a permaculture method, which I, of course, now use today, like our strawberries. He used permaculture method on strawberries. I didn't get much gardening in until I started doing going on mission trips. Africa, I've been twice, but in several areas in Africa as a missionary. One mission, I had a really nice garden, an off-season garden, and I had to haul water from the river up to the garden 200 yards, and I had to protect it from baboons, and I had to learn a lot of things in that area about gardening, especially off-season gardening. Do a mission trip to the Philippines in 2019, and I was given 4 hectares, not given as mine, but given as a caretaker of 4 hectares. And when I arrived there, they gave me tomok banana shoots, much like the ones I have right over there. And I didn't know what to do, so I prayed. I said, Lord, what do I do with this? And he said, you remember that hole you fell in the other day? Oh yeah, I remember. It was a surprise. You're walking along and whew. Anyway, he said, plant it there, I'll show you how. And so I went there and I found that it was an old rotten tree stump. And it was, decomposed, and so there was these cavities from the roots in the ground. And so when I got there, I was like, what do I do here? And and he said, mix the soil with all that compost, natural compost from that rotten tree. And so I did, and that banana grew to be 5 feet tall. It had like 5 tiers of bananas, big, huge bananas. And I really learned something there. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with agriculture. Been doing agriculture most of my childhood, I don't know. I need to learn more. And so I started searching online. I ended up getting a book by Matt Powers and learning a lot from Elaine Ingraham. And as I was learning, I was applying to my husbandmanship or caretaker position there in the mountain. And it was awesome, just awesome. Now, the owner of that land said that her ancestors used to get huge ginger. But now they can't get them any bigger than this, even if they use chemical fertilizer. And I thought that was interesting. Something was missing that they had before. And with my new teachers online, they taught me what was missing. The you know, the substrate needed help. And they taught me the microorganisms are the key to getting the nutrition to the plants. I'm smiling because there's this beautiful bird walking right here. It's like 10 feet from me. Anyway, so I started trying out what I was learning. And I planted ginger, and I saw that the ginger was big, before I took it out, before I harvested it. And I was like, oh, I want to harvest. But something told me, no, wait. I'm like, okay. Because it was getting dry. The rainy season was done. It wasn't going to grow anymore. And we ended up getting a little more rain after that. And I ended up being called to do some other things. The owner ended up doing the harvesting. And they texted me, Grabe, your ginger is huge. And my plot was only like 15 by 12 by, I think, 20. It wasn't that big. And the other plot right next to it was 75 feet by 25 feet by, I would say, if I remember right. So it was big. And they planted, I remember watching them plant, they planted ginger like this, like it standing, and they're like this far apart. I'm like, and they're planting in subsoil because they tilled the soil and then it rained, washed all their topsoil away. Sorry for them. And they didn't put any mulch to hold the topsoil, so when it rained, it was ruined. The soil was ruined. Anyway, and they got some fruit. They did something. And I got one. I don't remember how much. They didn't tell me how much they got. But they said they got more fruit from what I planted in my little plot than what they got in their big, huge plot by volume. Like, I think they got 2 saccos from mine and 2 saccos from the other. And that's why they texted me, and they were really amazed. And it was a testimony that what I was showing how to do through permaculture, that it was right. And so, and I did other projects on there that just blossomed. And so it was really a really testimony. And I've been doing agriculture off and on in starting gardens like this one behind me. I started this garden for the people here. And I've been starting gardens for people. I'm a homesteader, I can build a house and in exterminating circumstances, like in Africa, it's really hard. Life is hard there. And I build houses there. And I build houses in America and South America and here in the Philippines. And so I'm just someone that can, land on land, go to a land, and I can organize the garden, the housing, the plumbing, everything you need. I can do water collection systems, whether it be from a pond or an artesian spring. I built a huge dam here in Nueva Vizcaya, Philippines. I'm in Pangasinan, Philippines now, but I built a huge dam there, and it was a live dam, meaning it's not made from concrete, but it's better than concrete because it will never crack, it will never wash out, because it's a live dam. every year it gets stronger and stronger and bigger. And it has a natural overflow so that when we get heavy rains, the water goes around the dam and protects it. And the way it's designed is that when the mud comes, because there's a lot of mud, especially when they do agriculture upstream, it's designed so the mud goes straight and the water goes to the side. And it worked great. We got the heaviest rain. It was amazing. There were mudslides everywhere. We had a big typhoon. It was the biggest typhoon they had had in 50 years. I don't remember if it was 2022 or 2020, but it was bad, really bad. There were trees going down everywhere. We lost all our papaya and a lot of bananas because it was such a terrible, just a huge amount of rainfall. And that dam survived because of the design I believe God gave me. Now, I did some research, and he showed me what was good and what wasn't. So, the design I did is called a dual bypass reservoir. And it's designed for the mud to go straight in, and then the water flow around the dam so it doesn't. And that reservoir did fill with mud. We had to go and remove the mud to use it again, but at least the dam didn't break. And so this is this kind of stuff I do. I love doing it. I'm also a journeyman mechanic. I've been working on cars since I was 14. It was a natural gift. And I apply those natural gifts to automotive mechanics, to agriculture, and I can also, and I use those same skills for keeping up with organic certification standards. I know the technical terms and and if I don't know it, I know how to find out. So I can maintain certifications in that area. And also, I'm a journeyman carpenter or house builder. 10 years after my automotive training, I couldn't get work in automotive. So providentially, I went to work as a mechanic, or not as a carpenter or house builder, which means we do the foundation, we build the walls, we do the flooring, everything, the roofing, the carpet even. I learned to do carpeting and tile setting and everything. I can do anything that has to do with house building. And I've done this in other countries, so I know the different materials and how to apply them. In fact, in Africa, we made our own bricks. So this is what I'm offering to people who need help, getting, whatever they want to do. If they want to get out of the cities because the world's going haywire, as we called it when I was a kid. The place is going crazy, with prices and everything. So, and I'm not demanding a huge price for what I do. I'm not really after money. I just, if I get a stipend, $10,000 a month, something like that, I'll do the work. And my wife will help me. She's really good at this kind of stuff too. She's mechanically inclined like me, and so she helps me in doing carpentry, and she's a great interpreter. She's very patient and kind, much better. She's my better half for sure. But so that's what I'm thinking, and I want to I want to do that work. And actually, I would have stayed at this place, and I'm willing to stay, and they're willing to have me, but they lost their funding. So no more work here from funding. They're letting me stay here, and they actually offered a land for me to work there, but there's no way to support my wife and kids. So we have one son, and we actually have more daughters, but they're living with grandparents now. And so we like to work. We want to do this work, and I'm self-motivating. If someone just says, build a house here, this is a picture of the house, I can build it. We want a garden here, we want to grow that, I can build it. I want to use this for a reservoir. We want to make a reservoir here. We're going to use rain collection for our water. I can do that. And here, I can even make a reservoir to store the rainwater in so that there's water there longer. And besides using well water, I do know how to drill wells too. So I'm free, I'm available, and I hope someone will be interested in our work. And I pray God bless. And